Welcome to Imperial FFC Week 1 recap. This is your commissioner, Anil Rapani, and I'm excited for another year of fantasy football. Hope you guys are as well. Let's get it started. Unfortunately, my co-host could not make it today because he's too busy. Speaking of too busy, that is the same man who said that he was too busy to be our commissioner after he had accepted it from Usman. But it's okay, I went ahead and took that over. But the caveat was I told him that he needs to be part of these podcasts, to be part of the entertainment for our weekly recaps. And he accepted, so we're excited to have him next week. I want to first start off by saying that the offseason was fun. We had some rule changes, and I think it shows that we're growing, and hopefully it's better for the league. Just a recap for our new changes was that we have new defensive scoring. We're going to add 0.5 points for 3 and outs. We're going to have 0.5 points for 4th down stops. We had changes for our sack or punishment. There's just no costume, no shame, no nothing like that. It's just you got to host the draft, you got to deliver your trophy, you got to do the name changes. So you got to still do those things to avoid becoming Sacco or have the one to avoid Sacco. And then we also instituted a new rule where we're going to have that deposit of the 150, but if you go inactive and the other members of the league unanimously agreed that you had gone inactive during the year because you just kind of gave up, then we will replace that member. The last change we have is that our bench spots went from 7 to 5, but we still kept the 3 COVID IR spots. I think this one's going to be a really big change for us, and I think it's in a good way because it'll make the league a little bit more competitive. A lot more teams, won't be able to hoard onto players. So, the waiver wire should be a little bit more active, more fun, and the lower tier teams have a chance to find gems in the waiver wire. So I think with these new changes, I think we're headed in the right direction. Let's go ahead and start off with our weekly recaps, and we'll see how we did in the first week. So the first game is, unfortunately, my team versus Sunil's team. And I say unfortunately because I had to lose to this barking dog. And what sucks is that he had Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper. Those two that I had last year were absolutely crushing it until Dak Prescott got hurt. Nothing else to say. My team just didn't live up to what I thought they were going to. And Mostert, who got hurt early on in the games, Derrick Henry and Austin Eckler just did not perform as to where I thought they should have. On the other side, Sunil did really well, like I said, with Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and Darren Waller. Those guys just absolutely crushed it. But I'll see you again next time we play Sunil. Next team after that is Donish's team versus Zen. Zen won this one 140.88 to 126.54. This actually looked like a very easy game for Zen early on because Donish had a lot of late games, but the people who had played for him just weren't producing well. Until that Rams and Chicago game, I know Zen got a little nervous with Stafford and Cooper Kupp. By the way, what the fuck, man? They dropped something in the game where one of the reporters was saying that Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp have breakfast in the morning every day at before practices, and it's like, what the fuck? That is like such important news. Like, why no one reported that before our drafts? Otherwise, I would have picked up Cooper Kupp over Robert Woods, right? But that I think Cooper Kupp's going to do really well. I think he had 10 targets, 108 yards, 7 receptions, one touchdown. I mean, did really well. Another cool fact about this game was that Christian McCaffrey, that guy's a freak. You can tell that Carolina literally only goes through him. He was the highest scoring running back in a half PPR format and he had no touchdown. This guy had 98 rush yards and 89 receiving yards. I mean, just absolutely crushing it. Had like 9 receptions. So I think both of these teams are good, and I think they're gonna have a strong fight this year. The next game is Butt Bobby versus The Lasso Way. Before I get into this match, I do want to say kudos to Shemez. Your draft was pretty good, man. Pretty awesome. I think all of us can agree that we cannot believe we let you have the wideouts you have. I mean, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Adam Thielen, and Tyler Lockett. That combination is just insane. While I was doing these recaps and going over the games, I didn't notice this early on, but between four of those players, they scored 31.6 by Hill, 23.3 by Hopkins, 25.7 by Thielen, and Tyler Lockett had 24. If you add that all up together, that's 103 points. That's only 0.56 points less than Mosen's whole team. That is absolutely insane. That means he could have had those four wideouts and just his fucking kicker, and he would have beat Mosen. How insane is that? But on the other side, Mosen's team, I think this is a freak week, obviously, because Aaron Rodgers, a star quarterback, only had 3 points. I don't think we'll ever see that ever again. So don't count Mosen out just yet. But, I thought that was a really interesting fact about this game. We'll see if, Shemez's team can keep this up. He's known, I think Dehanis used to call him the Houston Rockets, right? Like, an amazing season team, but when it came to the playoffs, they just couldn't do it, right? He used to blow out teams that were not as good, but when they played the good teams, they didn't show up. So we'll be interested to see how this goes throughout the year for Shemez. The last game on our list is Saquon D's Nuts and second place. These two are a funny pair of friends because, in the past you would always just reverse jinx each other, and it'd be so annoying. Like, I know the whole league would get annoyed by these two. But, I know we instituted a new rule this year just to avoid some reverse jinxing. And I think so far it's been pretty good. Anyways, one person I do want to talk about is Kyler Murray in this match for Chalk Bar's side. I mean, that guy looked like someone on a Madden game. I mean, I remember seeing one play where he stepped back out of the pocket, went to the left, went to the right, threw off his back foot for 40, 50 yards for an easy reception. It's just absolutely insane to watch. And, it doesn't help him having DeAndre Hopkins now and just, absolutely crushing it. Side note, that was a terrible trade, Sunil. I want you to admit it. We traded DeAndre Hopkins for a bag of fucking chips. I don't care what you have to say. It was bad. It was bad. Anyways, I think that is it for our week 1 recaps. And here are our power rankings. For week 1 power rankings, we got Bud Bobby as number 1, Back to the Future as number 2, 3 Zen, 4 second place, 5 Dash's team, 6 Sacco, 7 Saquon D's Nuts, and 8 The Lasso Way. I think Mosen will drastically go up as his quarterback gets better, but this is just the first week. I just want to, cover waiver wires real quickly. We had a really crazy waiver wire week. Mosen dropped $215 on Eli Mitchell. That reminds me of last year when he had also picked up James Robinson. Actually, if I remember correctly, Sunil had picked up James Robinson, dropped him, and then Mosen picked him up and used him the rest of the year and just, tore it up. Eli Mitchell can be the same for Mosen again, but the problem is that, that Kyle Shanahan offense, you don't know what's going to happen. They traded up to get Trey Sermon early in the draft. And then he was a healthy scratch, so you never know with that team. So it could be Eli Mitchell week 1 and a Trey Sermon game 2. So we'll see how that pans out for Mosen. Another interesting thing I want to talk about is Zen. Zen has been super active on this waiver wire. As soon as any news breaks out, he is the first one on there to grab up the person. First one that was notable was when Gus Edwards got injured. He had picked up Tyson Williams right away, which helped him, the very first week, got him 16 points on his flex. I feel for you, Chalk Bar. I have Gus Edwards in my 12-man and was really hoping for a good year this year from him. After that, I think Zane had picked up Jarvis Landry as soon as he found out about OBJ getting out, and he's starting him now over Tyson Williams for the week. And then when Josh Jacobs got out, he picked up Kenyon Drake. So, Zane has been on his game this waiver wire, at least for the first week or so. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out for everybody else. Let's quickly go over our matchups for week 2 and see how that went. So my team versus Danish's team, the projection is 143.25 to 139.02. Right now, I'm currently favored to win, and I'm favored by 53%. I disagree. I think that should be more like 93%, but, it's okay. We'll leave it at 53. No, I'm just kidding. I think, we had very close scores last week, so it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. I'm hoping Derrick Henry and Austin Eckler show up this week for me, I'm sure. Danish hopes Najee and Zeke show up this week, so it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. The next game we got is Butt Bobby versus second place, and unfortunately, this is because we're recording this after Thursday. We see that Chalk Bar already has 2 players that played, which is Antonio Gibson in the Washington defense. Unfortunately, they scored underneath their projections, so the new live projections are 152.39 to 133.16. Nothing to say, but, it doesn't look too good for Chalk Bar, but who knows, maybe it was a fluke week last week for Shemez, and his team doesn't perform as well as they did. The next game after that is Saquon D's Nuts versus Dak to the Future. Saquon D's Nuts actually did really well. Started off this week pretty good, better than his projections, at least for Terry McLaurin. Scored 22.2 points for him, had 107 yards, 1 touchdown. That's awesome. But Barkley, on the other hand, only giving him 7.9. Not scoring. This hurts for Usman, I'm sure. It's not good to see your starter running back not do as well. Then Logan Thomas had 7 points. Going up against Darren Waller on the other side, you would hope that you would get double digits from your tight end. Nothing else to say besides we'll see how this goes. If Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper can keep it up for Sunil. We got the Lasso Way and Zen. These two love to make trades that benefit Zen and to get Mosin into just the playoffs. We'll see how this goes. This is the closest projected match that I think I noticed between all of our teams. This is 147.5 to 146.6. I know Mosin expects Aaron Rodgers to do a lot better than he did week 1, but on the other side, you got Patrick Mahomes going against Baltimore, which is always a high-scoring game. And then you got Christian McCaffrey on the other side, who's always going to do his thing. So you can expect those 2 players to be putting up very high numbers. On the other side, Mosin starting his new pickup, Eli Mitchell. So, we'll see how that pans out for him. I see that he's starting DeAndre Swift this week as well. So we'll see how that goes. This game can be a very close one as long as Rodgers, plays like his old self. So we're interested to see how this goes. And that is about it for our recap. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is just something that, I thought off the whim that would be fun to do, like a video podcast. It was just something that I hope that it gets better every week. And, me having a co-host, I think we'll have some conversations and some more entertainment for you guys. I think that is about it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it once again. Good night and good luck to everybody on week 2 besides Danish. Yeah, so good night. Bless up, Bobby. And see you guys on Sunday. Too sexy for this, too sexy for your girl, too sexy.